from the government, and I'm here to help.
Take a look, it's in a book.
Some members of the community use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda.
Let's watch. Figure it out.
Welcome back to another episode of the We Figured It Out podcast. I am the end of day's best friends. Today, it's just your boy Michael. Matt, out and about. He'll be around sometime. Don't worry, though. It's not just me rambling. I do got a guest today, and it is Chris. He's the founder, CEO. Are you creator, too? All you?
President, creator, founder.
Sick.
Yep.
Clothing, American Reich. He's been out and about right now, really protesting heavily, making waves, I feel like, in words that need to be said. You know, people don't care about family values as much anymore, like macho man status or protecting the children. You know, it's all kind of fallen off, and we've either been distracted or swayed or anyways. What's up, man?
Well, as you can see, my background's a little different than the norm. My family and I just moved over the weekend, so I haven't got to set up my full content dome, my like man cave, the founder cave, but I got the American Reich up here.
Yes.
Got my fish. I'm really big into aquatics. A lot of you probably didn't know that about me. Man, thank you for having me. I'm super excited about
Thanks for
this
being
one.
here.
Yeah. I'm, as you know, I'm an open book. Whatever you want to ask me,
All
I'm
right,
here
cool.
to tell the truth. And yeah, you said, I just want to clarify. Yes, I'm the founder of American Reich, and I am the president and the CEO. And also, I do have a team behind me now as it's progressed that I couldn't do this without. So,
Yeah,
but
big
yeah,
shout out there.
I came up with the idea though.
Good, cool. So, right, obviously, he just told us who he is, what he does. Who were you before American Reich? I want to start there.
Okay, how far back do you want me to go, man?
I mean, when it started, like when you started noticing things that needed to be said, I guess.
All right. Well, my first noticing was a couple years after 9/11 when all the documentaries and like Zeitgeist talking about the Federal Reserve and 9/11 being an inside job. That's when
Yeah,
my eyes started to open. Like, oh, wait a minute. It's not just trust the government. Like they have our best interests at heart. So I started to shift my perspective there. But what really did it for me was after that, I kind of like lost interest and just went on about my life and just kind of what's the old saying? Ignorance is bliss in a sense. Like I
yeah,
just was working, trying to survive, working in
going
the
with the
drug and
flow.
alcohol. Yeah, going with the flow, working in drug and alcohol treatment centers, directing those for a while. But what really did it for me is so my daughter's gonna be 5. When my daughter was born, it was like the way it all unfolded was like one after the other. My daughter was born, and then shortly after that, all the LGBTQ stuff coming out and like being in schools and like drag shows with kids, and like all of a
Yeah,
sudden kids want to be different. The
shout
boys
out
want to be.
Pride Month. Yeah, I know, right?
This is the only pride that I have.
Yes.
It's this and this, man.
I'm
And being
born
a
in fucking
dad.
June too, so I'm like, when the hell did this?
When's your birthday?
The 24th.
Mine's the 8th, man.
Nice, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's actually right before we started this, and then I'll backtrack. Right before we started this, I just shared a story on my Instagram because Men's Mental Health Month. I feel like we get overshadowed with the Pride Month.
Yep.
Anyways, my daughter being born, the transgender ideology and everything. I remember being a kid, like seeing like transgender people here and there, and it was kind of just like, hey, Dad, what's that? Like, oh, that's like a drag queen or a guy who likes to dress like a girl, whatever. And then like that was it. And then it was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, baseball cards. Like it wasn't pushed so hard and like on all these media platforms and like almost this sense of like weaponized morality. Like if you're not with it, you're a bad person. If you don't
Yes.
accept them, then something's wrong. Like, whoa, hold the fuck on.
Yeah.
That and at the same time that was happening, Gaza. And obviously, what's been happening in Palestine and Gaza has been happening for lots of years. I just wasn't educated about it. It's like out of sight, out of mind. Like I didn't know. But basically, seeing my I'm now a father to a little girl, changed my heart, changed my spirit, changed my mind. And then I'm seeing these children and women and men, but mainly the children did something to me on my screen, burnt faces, missing limbs, just dead, and these sobbing fathers and mothers in
Yeah.
Gaza.
When
And
morality die? Like when the fuck did that happen?
yeah, dude. And it was just like there was nights where it was like really hard for me to go to sleep, or I'd like wake up in the middle of the night and shit. Like this, like it fucked with my head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then as that happened, and as I'm starting to now educate myself on Israel and Gaza and the truth of World War II and what the painter was doing and all this shit, then
The
like
dancing
boom,
Israelis on 9/11,
all that kind of shit.
or
And
the
then
4 non-Arabs they caught on the bridge, arming
yeah,
explosives.
yeah. And then boom, Charlie Kirk happened. And then like 2 days, I think it was either the next day or like 2 days later. Now on my phone, I'm seeing Trump doing all these interviews and press conferences with Netanyahu next to him with a mixture of Israel flags and United States flags. And just everything to my core was like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This is not right. And then all the pieces just started to connect, 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 connect. And then we have Nick Fuentes doing America First, and I'm getting the feeling. I'm like rewind a year ago. I'm getting the feeling that is this a full circle Democrat ploy? Like, is he gonna try to shift us to go Democrat? Like he's going because if you go hard enough right, you'll come all the way back to the left,
Oh
vice
yeah.
versa, right? And sure enough, now he's saying vote Democrat. But that's where it really started for me. Was like, dude, the division line, we're so divided. What the fuck is what the fuck is Israel doing in with us? Fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
And and my daughter, this poor, not like poor little girl, but this innocent little child, like I gotta fucking do something. What can I do?
Yeah.
What can this 40-year-old man from California that really has no political affiliation whatsoever, what can I do? How can I get people to unite with me? I know there's men and women out there that feel like I do, and that's kind of how the idea of American Reich came to fruition.
Absolutely. Um, you go to your pinned one on your Instagram because you had mentioned that, and the very first comment on there is some lady saying, you're a neo-Nazi though, right? Because you use the word Reich.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if anybody just listened to the last 10 minutes of you talking,
You
far
know
from it,
what?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I've got to do a few podcasts the last 2 weeks, done like three, and this topic has come up a lot. And there's influencers. I'm not even gonna name them. Fuck them. But bigger influencers than me with like hundreds of thousands who try to like twist the he's a neo American Reich is like a neo-Nazi thing, and Ryan Maddow's with Thomas Massey wearing an American Reich sweater when before Massey lost, and like all this shit, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like neo-Nazi, neo-Nazi, neo-Nazi. First of all, no, I've never had any affiliation with any kind of white supremacist group at all. I'm not like that. My wife is Hispanic American. She's
Yeah.
fourth generation.
Yeah.
Like
Good
my
luck
wife's a
in
Mexican.
LA being a racist, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't raised like that at all.
Yeah.
And
No.
my parents didn't raise me like that, and I didn't grow up around it. And in school, there was a variety of everybody. It just was never even, it was never even a thing for me
If
growing
if
up.
you I always like to say if you took everybody out who was like less than our age or older than us, right around 40,
Mhm.
that shit would go away. There
Yeah.
isn't a division. Nobody wants to go to war. Nobody wants, I don't want more money than you. I want you to eat too. There's all this, I don't need this feel for greed. Um, do you know Thomas Massey, his biggest donor too? I looked this up after he lost, is Jeff Yass. And he's like an APAC donor, and he gave him 7 or like $8 million. Yeah. So
Hmm.
Thomas Massey was pretty much bought too.
I that
It's insane.
information is
You couldn't
I
go
never
anywhere, right? You
I
can't.
didn't I've never heard that. That's new information to
Yeah,
me
it's
to this
it's
point.
all leaked now, so it's his corporations, but whatever, he still supported Massey. I mean, Massey's out here publicly saying these things, so it's not,
Yeah.
that's why he's not here anymore, right? They chased him out.
And to rewind just a little bit, I don't want to act stupid or naive. I get the connotation of Reich, and that's kind of why I
Oh
chose the
yeah.
word is I wanted you to feel something. It's a
Hmm.
hook. American Reich, it's a hook. So I
That's why I
understand.
told you before this, I see it as like art. I see the art in it, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
I like that
one
that
of Picasso's
comparison.
most famous paintings is of, the Spanish War and like the burning of a building, and he drew a big old mural protesting it, and it's made him famous for it. It didn't mean he wanted to see people burn and die. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So common sense has become very uncommon these days. And I say that to say if you have any kind of if you have half a fucking brain, most people will go scroll through their Instagram or Facebook or whatever and see American Reich, and two things will happen. One is like American Reich, what is that? That's fucking sick. Let me look at that. Cool, because a lot of people are awake and they just know. Or the other one is American Reich. What the fuck is this? Let me see what the fuck is this. But either way, you're hooked. And
mm-hmm.
this is either what happens is you're like, oh, this is cool right off the bat, and you're like, oh, this is like a pro-American thing. Oh, I like this is cool. Or like I said, fuck this. What is this? What is this? Neo-Nazis. Let me see this motherfucker with his gauges and shit. Who the fuck is this? And then you see that it's not a neo-Nazi organization. It's just a pro-American organization. Or they ask me questions like, are you a Nazi? What is this? And I explain it. And they either refuse to hear what I'm telling them, and they're like, nope, you're still a Nazi. You're still a white supremacist, even though I'm not. It has nothing to do with that. Or it changes their mind and they go, oh, I did a couple videos with my friend Tish the Dish from Blessed Butterfly Ministries. She's a black chick. I don't give a fuck. I'd treat her the same. She was white, black, Mexican. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck. But a lot of people have messaged me personally and messaged on our videos together because she has her American Right hat on with her Join the Movement shirt, and we're doing shit together out protesting and marching in the streets. And people have said, hey, man, I actually owe you an apology. I
Good.
assume that this was neo-Nazi. I assumed this was a whites only. I assumed this was a supremacist whites thing. My bad. I actually want to apologize to you. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And
it's all good. It's all good because again, like I said, I'm not naive. I'm not dumb. I know what this can do.
yeah, but you're smart, right? Exactly. You're not dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm
and
not.
that's the
I'm
point of
not.
it, right? You're drawing that in, and exactly, you could tell too with those videos with her, like she's actually even comfortable by you, dude. She runs up behind you in the one when you're like walking under construction and grabs you. If you're a
Yeah.
neo-Nazi, nobody's running up on you and grabbing you and
No.
stuff. Yeah, um, yeah, I like
She
that
knows.
though.
She knows. She
Yes,
knows. She's in this with us. She's a part of American Reich. She's a part of the Save Our Children movement. She knows what this is and she knows what this isn't. And it's evident. I love that one of my favorite videos that I've done in a long time. And this was just by accident and my cameraman caught it. But it's me in our warehouse and I want to show her this pallet that we're about to donate to some kids on Skid Row. And I'm like, come with me. And it's us holding hands, walking through the warehouse together. That's my sister. I love her. She's
yeah,
such a good heart. And it's like, that's just what we are and what we aren't. It's right there, dude. It's not
that's
a
good.
fucking act.
No, um, no, that's good. That was from the heart there, dude. Thanks for being open like that too. I don't even know you,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
um, yeah,
I'm gonna tell the
it's
truth no matter what. That's one
right.
thing about me. Even if you pull up some shit that I'm not too proud of that happened over 10 years ago, that's all the dirt people have on me. Like 12 years ago, he fucking was drunk around a kid. Look at this piece of shit. It's like, okay, I'll tell you the story, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I've got stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
I don't even, I would never know. I remember one time when I was younger, I had left town for a little bit and came back, and a girl I liked was like, I was like, hey, missed you. And she goes, oh, you didn't hear those stories about me? And I was like, no, it's not what we're about. Same thing. It's right. Who cares about that past stuff? If you learn from it, then you're not that
Mike,
person, right?
Mike, can I do something I've never done before just for fun?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm gonna post this later. Look, we're live with We Figured It Out, the founder. We got Mike. We're literally live doing
Yes,
this right
sir.
now. I've never done this before. I just wanted to shout out in the middle of an actual podcast. What's up? I'm gonna post this to the American Rag page. Love you guys. Thank you, Mike. I'm gonna jump back on this podcast. See you guys
Yeah.
later.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah.
man.
No, perfect. Perfect. That's awesome. I like that kind of content too. So I like to leave it sideways, a little unedited like that. It's perfect. Um,
Cool.
you had brought up Palestine and Gaza, and it had reminded me, I have a buddy right now. He's in the armed forces, and he is on like a while now. He's been doing it years. And he just went from Egypt, which was like, he sent me pictures, and it's, dude, there's McDonald's and like it looks like Vegas almost, there's just lights everywhere, and it's clean, and then he goes, yeah, he takes a picture, and you could see the skyline. It's like Catalina Island, you can see it right off the beach. And he goes, that's Gaza. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, man, it's about 30 minutes away. And in my mind, it fucked with me, because I was like, this is how so desensitized we've been, that 30 minutes away, there's 150,000 dead people, with 100,000 of them being women and children,
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and no disrespect or anything, but it's like, he's got a dental clinic and shit. And it's like, damn. And it makes me think too, they try to make smart city stuff or separate us from things, and if they're 15-minute cities, it's end to end, you could have 30-minute difference to the other city, and you're not going to give a fuck what they're doing. We're proving it right now with Gaza burning.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And it's right there. And as you're telling me this, like, I don't want to get like too philosophical or too deep about it, but it's like, somebody just like invented this border that separates all these human beings, and half of them get to live with fucking McDonald's and dentists, and the other half are starving to death, being bombed.
And then they tell you, well, you can't come to our side.
Yeah.
No, I think it's fucked up too. I think it's absolutely fucked up. Save Our Children was there, and then the Epstein files happened, and then everybody was like, yeah, they're really fucking around with our children. And then all of a sudden we bomb another country and start annihilating everything, and nobody cares anymore. And I had a guest on the other night, and he kind of really broke down this doctrine in the Bible, about morality, and you always love thy neighbor, and it's not, you don't love what your government told you to do,
Yeah.
You don't love a border that they've placed around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Christianity goes
I agree.
that simple. Are you preach that? Do you believe in God?
Yeah, I have my own spiritual path that I walk, that I kind of keep close to the chest.
Good.
I mean, yeah, I believe that Jesus walked the earth. Most of my spiritual practice comes from the yogic path. My wife's a yoga instructor. She brought me into it, I'd say like 4 or 5 years ago, but it just opened my eyes to the universe and just a different perspective on Mother Nature and
That's awesome.
what's the word? Mother Nature and the divine, like
God,
okay. The divine, just how we're all energy and connected. And yeah, I don't talk about my own spirituality a lot. And the main reason I've actually been not afraid of this question. I just kind of try to sidetrack it, but I'm going to be honest, because I'm always honest in podcasts. Fuck it. I don't like to speak about my specific spiritual practice or my specific belief system too much, because I don't want it to deter somebody else to come in. Like, oh, the leader believes in spirituality this way, I don't, so I don't fit into that organization. Like, nah, I just don't want to, because we're non-race. Doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter what religion you are, doesn't matter your background, your creed. So I just don't want to block the door to let people in. Like, I don't want to turn people off because I may think a different way than they do. That's it.
Yeah, that's smart. It's actually a really good tactic that they use in division. It's kind of like that. They'll use their own words against them. We had the CEO, dude, this is crazy. He has a company called Crowds on Demand, and they're 15 years old. And he takes money from whoever. He's turned money down, though, too. He claimed he turned down a $20 million organization because it was going to make them look bad. And he wouldn't be too forefront with me either. But I asked, what do you mean make you look bad? Like paid protesters, or what you were ever trying to accomplish? And he wasn't very clear on that, because it's paid protesting, right? That's what looks bad. Yeah. But he would go into it, and he would say, okay, say the Democrats in a very leftist area would want to get rid of these encampments like Skid Row. And they'd say, it's unsightly on our businesses. We want to get rid of this. And he would literally go around and he would teach them to manipulate it and say, okay, no, that's not how we want to talk about this. It's not hurting or unsightly. That's going to sound bad. But if you turn around and you say, hey, if we clear these encampments, then it disproportionately puts Black people out and minorities with nowhere to even stay anymore, because that's what happens in these encampments. And it's like he was turning their own ideology against them to create more division even within them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, manipulation tactic, 100%.
Yeah, it was very business savvy at the same time, and it could always get people, but it was like, we looked at it and it was just, dude, you're teaching people like how to negotiate an argument, I guess, rather than argue.
Yeah. That's wild.
It's not. So yeah, and then it leads to the point, what the fuck is real? Like you said, you were out at one this weekend, and is it manufactured halfway?
No, not these. This is my dear friend, Scotty the Kid, who is the founder of Save Our Children. I love Scotty. He's just a good human being, good father, good husband, just good friend, good man.
Yeah, he's got some books out right now too. Shout out.
Yeah, he wrote a book. It took him like 3 years to write. I'll let him pitch his book, and it's in French, the title.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to butcher it, Scotty, if you come across this video. But it's a grassroots movement, Save Our Children, that is not, it's not set up as a business. Like there's no merch. There's one piece of merch, and it's one shirt that is the American Reich and Save Our Children. It's like a collab shirt, and I sell the shirt at my store under my business, the American Reich, on the business half of the organization. But all the proceeds go back into Save Our Children, so we can get like flyers or banners or whatever we need to do to promote the movement itself, so we can get more people to march for the children. But Save Our Children is no profit. It doesn't receive any donations. It's fully self-supported through just the people out of the charity of and goodness of their heart. But it is not a paid. There's nobody there that's getting paid to march on the streets and raise a hand and a sign about the Epstein files, about protecting the innocence of the children. All that is organic. That is just moms and dads and a lot of victims of sexual abuse and human trafficking themselves that are now adults that want to stand up and speak and just be a part of it. It's not. So I walked through a No Kings protest last year. I didn't even say anything. All I did was walk through. I was wearing a suit and my American Reich hat, and actually somebody posted a thing on Reddit, a whole article. Look at the Nazi, and I didn't even say anything. I was like, whatever, dude. That was my first piece of media. It was like it wasn't a whole year ago. It was like right in January, right when I started this thing. I just walked through a No Kings protest, didn't say a word to anybody, just walked. And then sure enough, like 2 or 3 days later, there's a whole article about me. Look at the Nazi. But it's a different vibe. Like that vibe is very, you could feel like the kind of negative energy, and people go there to antagonize on purpose, like get a response from people like, but Trump's your daddy, and like this back and forth. At the Save Our Children, it's not like that. It's just everyone is on the same page. It's very loving. We're not trying to start no shit with anybody. We're obeying all the laws because there's cops around us, and we're like walk on the sidewalk, and they'll let us go on the street for a little bit, but then we go back. Like it's very we're all moving in with the same goal and the same movement, the same direction. We're not trying to start shit. We're just trying to spread some information.
It means something too when social media, like, remember when they were blocking Save Our Children, the hashtag? Right at the beginning of all that shit, yeah.
Oh
right
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I do remember. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Why do that, right? Unless it's something. It's the Epstein files. Everybody's fucking bought and sold. That's the problem too. No, that's the point. That's why you're on here, bro. The American fucking values, right? That's what it is.
No, I'm not bought and sold. That's for damn sure.
When do you, in your opinion, when do you think like America started losing that? When was the last good old, you know what I mean? Home values, when we cared about each other, you loved your neighbor, you brought them a cup of milk or whatever they need, or a bread,
Yeah,
butter, I guess. Yeah, that would be it.
I feel like, so I'm 40. I'll be 41 on Monday. I feel like I'm the last generation, dude. And I'm only speaking from the truth of my own experience, but when I grew up and like basically all through the 90s was we played roller hockey in the front yard. All the kids were out there together. You came home when the street light came on. If you want to know where everybody was, it was which bikes were in front of that house. I sat down, not every single night, but I'd say 90%, 95% of the time, we sat down as a family and ate dinner. We talked about what we did at school. We went on family trips. My mom, my mom stayed home and took care of my sister and I. My dad is actually a retired captain of the fire department. It was like a traditional nuclear family. So we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, I mean, we got pagers towards the end of high school.
Yeah. There
If
wasn't even
anybody even knows
cable.
what a page, yeah, no.
Yeah. I remember my
So
TV knob still, it was two, you had to like set the antenna knob and then you could find channels.
yeah, with the 13
Yeah,
click,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I would say around like for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I started noticing it around like 2006-ish. Couple years after I graduated high school, like more people doing this, walking around on their phone with the new smartphones coming out and Blackberries and all that shit and texting. And yeah, that's when I started noticing it for the reality that this guy lives in was about between 2003, right when I graduated high school, 2006, when I did a little bit of junior college, was the disconnect of people started to disconnect. And then I'd like go visit my parents and some of the neighbors moved away and I could just feel the vibe on the street was different. Like I'd be like, "Well, who's the new neighbors, Dad?" And he's like, "Oh, that's Jim and Jan. We don't really talk to them much." It's like, "Well,
Yeah.
what happened to Rick and Tina, the neighbors we grew up with? Oh, they moved and their kids." And it's like it just started to change and just felt more
It
separated.
dissolved almost. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Slowly it
yeah.
just dissolved, I feel like. I
Yeah.
had I had the same thing, like suburban friends, and then it was just all, no, we don't even talk to the neighbors, it's almost like don't look at me anymore, you know.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
did you ever see the movie Civil War where
yeah,
um and it was scary. It really was like that. It's like, dude, you're not even going to be able to leave your driveway. It's
yeah.
not
Uh,
whites versus blacks or, red versus blue or something like that. It's neighbor versus neighbor. And I think they did that, especially with pushing the division. They make things expensive. If you can invent the fucking money and you invent the rates, and it's like you've been tanking it ever since. So how are you going to tell us, oh, we need to try this or we need to try that, because it's slowly, literally just gone down the whole time.
yeah,
For me, I blame, like I don't blame, but I feel like it lost kind of where you're talking about the baby boomers. I feel like ruined that shit. So the generation right after, you know,
yeah.
and I feel
And
like, yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, no, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I
Sorry.
feel like they took away, like, okay, if we are not in charge of it, or if we don't get to choose for it or anything like that, then we're not going to do it, and it was only to benefit them. They pushed like their money, social security out. Hey, these guys can get it later, but we're going to keep dipping from it right now, all
Mhm.
of that kind of shit. We're going to invent practices that fucking say, okay, well, the money's good right now, later we'll deal with the issue. And I was like, man, now we can't even change some of these because of these fucking policies just tanked it. And
Yeah.
then, you can't get a car, right? Everything's more expensive, but they make it cheaper. Riddle that fucking one.
I
Sorry,
think
that was a tangent.
no, 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 that's fine. I think also, like looking back at it in retrospect now, about like I said, like 2003-ish, 2006, I really felt it. I think a lot of, first of all, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan was happening during that time. And I think the right after 9/11, the like everyone's a terrorist now and like terrorism, 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 it set a fear through the nation and people were more close to the chest and not trusting people, and it made people kind of recluse back a little bit because they set the tone of fear through the nation, and we're fighting in like wars and who has the nuclear weapons and another 9/11's around the corner, and everyone was like scared, I think.
Oh yeah. That's why you
Yeah.
combat it, bro. That's why you're um what's your favorite charitable act you've done? You say you give away to kids on Skid Row. What else?
Working with some veterans, me, myself, and Uncle Chris. He's a American Reich member. He's a, oh, if I fuck this up, Chris, I'm sorry. I think it's 18 years, medically retired vet. Him and I are teaming up with Tales of Valor.
Okay.
He has a service dog named Barney. Barney's like an unofficial mascot of ours. Barney's just always in the videos with him, and just we're real big into animal advocacy as well as the American Reich in general. But
Mm-hmm.
working with Chris and Tales of Valor, because I don't have a lot of veteran ties, but he does because he's has multiple years in the veteran services and working with nonprofit veteran organizations to help veterans. So he's been helping me network and build relationships with these other hero company is one, these veteran services that help out vets. So that's another thing that we've been working on. um
That's awesome.
and like I said, I have a lot of extensive history working with substance use and mental health and homelessness, and I spent some time counseling women who are survivors of not only domestic violence but survivors of human sex trafficking. So working with the mental health and crisis intervention and suicide prevention. I have a guy who has I'm gonna fuck this up too. I can't remember everything. He has a degree in sociology or psychology, one of those. But him and he's an American Reich member. His name's Pablo. He's teamed up with me too, so we can get some avenues and some connects to help people that are suffering from that. It's like one in every three Americans nowadays are suffering from some form of mental health,
Oh yeah.
whether it's smaller, whether it's just mild depression and anxiety or to something bigger. But we just want people to know, whether you're part of the American Reich or not, follower or not, even if you hate us, that if you're too scared to pick up the phone or you don't even know what step one is and you have some like serious mental health with either a loved one, a family member, a friend, a spouse, a coworker, that you can pick up the phone, you can message somebody to at least get pointed in the right direction to how to get some help.
Yeah, dude, it's the only way we're gonna, fix the country and bring it back, I think, is if we start with the issues that are like the bottom liars of things like that, and mental health happens to be one of them. I have
Yeah.
family members with history of that. I know exactly how it goes, and the substance abuse is huge, dude. Those usually go like hand in hand. They're
Yeah.
fucking bread and
Hmm.
wine together, and it's a terrible thing. Like you never get away from it from your entire life. Um, yeah,
Oh,
that's good.
and my national security director, excuse me, my national security director, Wick, he lives in Florida. He has a lot of history with natural disaster relief. So luckily, there hasn't been any big natural disasters that have happened in the last 6 to 7 months. But he's one of the first responders to any natural disaster in America. Like they'll fly out, drive out, whatever they need to do. So he has a team just waiting on hand when, because something's going to happen, a tornado or something. That's
Always.
just, yeah. So, and we are fully involved in that when it happens. We're not involved in it yet because, like I just said, luckily there hasn't been one in the last 6 to 9 months that has
Mm-hmm.
needed the assistance. But if my phone rings and Wick says, "Hey, in Kansas, a tornado took out, you know, a whole bunch of houses. There's like 10,000 people homeless. We need food and water and shit." Well, American Reich is going to be there. He
Yeah.
has all the logistics and how to do it organized, and he has resources to get the food, the water, all that shit.
I didn't
So
I was following him before I followed you, and I didn't realize you two knew each other until like I actually said anything to you, and I was like, oh shit, because he
yeah,
has like some crazy
yeah.
backwoods video stuff too that I like. So I was like, this guy's awesome. He was wearing a shirt that said what was it, Ukraine vacation the other day that I saw, and
Oh,
it looked like Vegas vacation
oh
almost.
yeah.
I was like, this
Wick,
guy's wild.
Wick is one of the first people I brought on to the we call it our cabinet. It's pretty much like our executive team. But Wick has been with me. He really believes in this shit like I do. And he's just a good guy. He's just one of those guys that he's just such a good fucking guy. Just a good human. I trust. I trust Wick 100%. We have a lot of differences. I'm from California City boy. I'm more of the politician,
Hmm.
quote unquote, unofficially. He's more of the boots on the ground, like I'll teach you how to strip your field weapon and put it back together with your eyes shut type
Yeah,
guy. But we work very well together because we have the same mission.
yeah.
And we needed that because I don't. I went to the NRA gun show because Wick brought me there. Like I brought myself there, I flew there, but like he linked me up with all kinds of different organizations through that world of people. That's not my world is guns and ammo and tactical and does not yeah disaster relief and like doomsday preparation. There's like a whole culture of people that I would have never rubbed elbows and shoulders with, and
Yeah.
Wick has brought me into that world. So he's been super useful to this organization. And again, I have to say this again, I just can't stress enough how much of a good fucking guy Wick is. He's a rare you don't he's like a diamond in the rough kind of guy. You don't meet people like that. Everyone has like some weird motive or they fuck you over later, or
Hmm.
Wick's just one of the few good men left that we got.
Yeah, yeah. I know not many people like that anymore, but I know exactly what you mean when I know those
Yeah.
people. And they're like the ones who can even laugh at themselves and stuff, it's all good. Um, you're from California.
Yes.
I I also tend to think, they in 1969 they started the no fault divorce like campaign there, and it was the first state that there was no fault divorce after Reagan signed the Family Law Act, and I feel like every state, has adopted that now. There's not any, but that was also kind of like, yeah, you no longer got to work on it, you can kind
Yeah.
of separate. And I'm from California too, so I'm not hating.
No, no, no. California fucking sucks. Beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, the worst politics there is. Maybe
Yeah,
not the worst, but it's
I
in
was
the
gonna
top
say
three for
Colorado.
sure.
Colorado's pretty bad.
It's in the top three. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It
I don't want to go. You asked me a question. You said, when did you see like the family values kind of start to dissolve? And I didn't want to go too hard and too deep on it, but since you brought that up, I really think a huge piece of it, I don't think, I know it is, and maybe some of you that are going to watch this later are going to disagree with me, but it's called feminism. And I'm not talking about women empowerment. I'm all for that. Women are very special. Women birth our children. Like, I'm all for motherhood. I'm all for women. Like, I have a fucking amazing wife. I have an amazing little girl. I'm all about the women. Women should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, right?
Shout out. Yep.
But but when it comes to feminism, see everything I just said, feminism was pitched that way.
Yes.
So let's get all these women riled up. But what it was really doing was let's make the women feel equal to men so they can work, so they don't feel the patriarchy, fucking stupid bullshit. So women can be just like men, go to work and all that. But what they didn't realize at the time was now we can tax both parents. And now if both parents are sitting in a fucking office for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, it's more room that we have for their children that
We can brainwash.
we can indoctrinate them with these uh published books of history that we get to choose which side of
Hmm.
history we get to
You
tell,
can
and
say
we'll teach
you
the
could
kids
say it
that.
on this show. I'm crazy. I'm a flat earther, bro. I think so.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
mean,
I think they lied
basically,
on some of that.
yeah, and it's all it's all part of the Zionist plan they've been rolling out since the mid to towards the later end of the 1800s. Like it's
Hmm.
all they're fucking long gamers, dude. I'll give them that. They
I
are long gamers.
I like biblical occult stuff too. It's one of my
Mhm.
favorite type things. And if you look back at these cursed biblical bloodlines, you can trace like the Israel ones now are part of a bloodline who sold his like ownership and rightship for a bowl of fucking soup, dude. And then he was like cursed to forever be on the side of the sword instead of love. And that bloodline that comes down through is the ones that are in Israel right now. And it's like,
Yeah,
dude, these fucking Jews aren't nice right now. They're the
no.
ones that descended from the sword. This is why they're warmongering. This is why they don't give a fuck who they kill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll fly off a
So
little on that too.
no, fly off, dude. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm
And
popping his in real quick, everybody. Just so you
hell
know.
yeah.
All right,
Hell
go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, and you look at it and it's insane because it's this big Nick Fuentes actually just spoke on this, you know. It's funny that you brought him up too, because Trump is yelling at Netanyahu, right? He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're fucking psycho, blah blah blah." He's trying to act all
yeah,
big and bad. But we
yeah,
roasted Joe Biden when he did the same thing, you know. He told
yeah.
Netanyahu he was a crazy bastard or whatever for killing women
Mhm.
and children, right? And everybody's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's Israel, back off." And it's like, dude, how fucking divided have we gotten where the 90% of rural whites stick to MAGA no matter what the fuck happens because you've just been indoctrinated to go, oh, well, your guy said that, you know? It's like, dude, when you and I were kids, you didn't tell somebody who you voted for. That was like,
yeah,
they'd
yeah,
slap you. Hey, don't fucking ask me that.
yeah, yeah. That was a off the table
Now,
conversation. You didn't
now
have
we
those
got
conversations.
flags and shit. It's like,
Yeah,
what the
and
hell?
hats and bumper stickers. Yeah, yeah,
Identities.
yeah. It's become your political affiliation becomes your identity. That's fucking. I love that you said that. Why didn't I
It's
think of that shit earlier? But you're right. You're right. It is, and it doesn't have to. And that's what's cool about the American Reich is I've talked about this 100 times, but I'll talk about it 101. Is I have friends, family, people that I work with and partner with that still believe that Trump is the best for his position right now, and they support not everything he does, but the majority of what he does. And those people, I don't. But me and those people are still able to maintain a human to human, respectful relationship, work together, talk about things together, agree when we agree to disagree, and disagree
absolutely.
when we disagree. It's not, doesn't have to be this, oh, you still are for Donald Trump, so I fucking hate this. You're a pedophile protector. You're the worst. Like,
Yeah.
no, dude. You're a person. If you're
Mm-hmm.
protecting pedophiles, I don't, that's not, if you are protecting pedophiles or you are a part of a pedophile anything at any by any means in any world or realm at all, it has nothing to do with your fucking who you voted for. That you're just a twisted sick fuck.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
don't base it on who you vote for.
No.
That's not my first thought. When I see somebody walk by the grocery store that have a MAGA hat on, I'm not like, oh, he probably fucks kids because Donald Trump and Epstein and all this. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
that guy, the
I just think
guy,
they're dumb.
yeah, maybe they, I, yes and no. So
It'd be the same
I'm
with a
gonna,
Biden hat, though. I think the same thing if
yeah,
somebody wore the other hat too. I'm like, why are we roasting this out here? Or why are
mm,
we presenting it?
I want to disagree with you until a certain point. So if I see someone wearing a MAGA hat, I don't automatically think they're dumb. I automatically think you are not fully awake yet. And I bet if you were given more information, your perception of you and that MAGA hat, what you stand and believe in towards Donald Trump and the MAGA movement would probably change. Now, given the information, if they say this is all bullshit and continue that walk, then I would say you're dumb.
Mm-hmm. You want
But
to
I
know what
don't
I
just,
think MAGA
yes, I do.
stands for? Money all goes around because Trump and his boys are just getting rich, dude.
Money, I love that.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, this guy's, we should have seen it. He was a businessman.
I
Should-
I put I put myself and the American Reich in a unique position because one of the main objectives of American Reich is not only education and information about the truth about Zionism and Israel and all that, but it's also removing the division line of left and right, Republican, Democrat. Like, let's all unite under one banner. Let's all fucking unite as Americans again. And the left has gone so left, and a lot of the right, like we were just talking about with MAGA, has gone so right. My job's getting harder and harder. It's getting harder and harder
oh,
to
yeah.
because it almost seems like it's impossible, but I will not give up the fight.
It's,
We have people on both sides. It's
yeah.
the American Reich is more of a conservative based member and following and supportership, but there is people on the left who are common sense Democrats who are have more than two brain cells in their head and can think for themselves to a degree where they're like, what you're doing is actually good. I'm down with that.
Hmm.
So,
I see militia when I look at it more than I would see like somebody trying to label it a conservative ideology or something, because you guys do have everything, you know, you have
yeah,
all kinds of walks of life and people, but you all believe in the same thing, you know, you all want the
yeah,
same outcome, and that would be, you know, like a militia. You guys are all on the same team, you know. Now you're not out here with guns or anything, not that. I know people are
yeah,
going to hear this and go, oh, we're
yeah,
some armed militia. No, no.
yeah.
Right, just a street team. Speaking of which is funny, we've spent, I think it's like something crazy, 38 billion on Israel, just since like the whole thing has gone down to let them start bombing Lebanon and Iran. So yeah, it's a lot of money. And lifetime, bro, we've it's weird. It's October 7th is when we like started letting this happen, you know, which is essentially their right. That happened on October 7th too, didn't it? Hamas,
Yeah,
quote
but
unquote.
yeah, quote unquote. Why was there a stand down order?
Exactly. They've been paying though our Congress members since October 7th was like the first payment date of that too. Not the same year, but they chose that beginning of Purim, like religious ritual date as well too.
It says it. I forgot exactly which text or scroll or fucking book, but quote me on this. It says in their religious shit and their Zionist shit that it is better to sacrifice a few of our own people for the greater outcome of all of our people. Now, quote me on it. It may not be verbatim those exact words, but there is a portion in their scripture that says, we will fucking basically kill off some of our own people to benefit the majority of our people. And I think that's what October 7th was. Like, hey, we're
Yes.
gonna let a handful of innocent Jewish people fucking take it hard because we have a bigger plan.
They claim other soldiers there now who've whistleblown claim the Hannibal directive was enacted, which was any kill everybody. No, nobody gets captured, even if you're an IDF and they're an IDF, kill them. Right. So many whistleblowers claim that. And then there's a lot of footage, dude, that the IDF killed more than Hamas did now. It's like statistically believed that now, even. So you're probably not fucking far off. And the
Yeah.
political blowback that Netanyahu is after to keep himself because of all these corruption trials, you know, he's like
Did you know
actively in like five of them.
did you know that the people were about to all stand up against Netanyahu too? Like his position was about to be overthrown pretty much like by the people. The people were rising up against the decisions he was making. They were like, dude, we fucking want you out, bro. And then he came in, well, it looked like he came in fucking Captain Save-A-Ho, Superman Netanyahu
Yeah,
because the poor Israel people on October 7th, and it shifted the whole perspective of what was important.
yeah.
Because weeks leading up to October 7th, it was all over the streets. They were planning their protests, the people of Israel. Like, let's get this fucking Netanyahu character the fuck out of here. We don't want him anymore. Then all of a sudden, October 7th.
Has anybody seen him still when like the rumors that he died? It's still just
I,
been videos, you know?
yeah,
It's
I
weird.
haven't had I don't know. Has there been like a thing with him and Trump together, like fucking waving at the camera or something since then? I don't think
I
there
doubt
has.
it. Dude, that guy's so fucking deep down in a bunker. There ain't no way. My
It's
boy
funny
over
too.
there says they're lying. You know, they're like, oh, two soldiers injured and 10 things damaged. And then he sends me, like, he'll send me shit. And I don't think he's supposed to be doing this. So hopefully I'm not getting
Uh,
anybody in trouble. But it'll be like a video down low of people talking. And it's like 300 have been hit and shit. And you're like, who the fuck is lying? So
so they're minimizing it.
essentially
Uh,
downplaying it all. I mean,
I
it's not hard to see, though. That's what he's doing right now, you know?
yeah. I mean, at this point, not. not that I'm an idiot. Like I'll believe what anybody tells me, but I don't doubt it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I don't doubt that that's probably true. This fucking world is crazy.
It's to protect the money. It's they also said I don't want to get off Netanyahu here because I had some bullshit on this guy too, right? He's in 2015. We're not going to leave him here real quick, right? He opposed. I wrote down this little tidbit here in my Word document.
Go ahead.
Obama's Iran nuclear negotiations as well, right? Obama wanted to negotiate with Iran. And this
Yeah.
is what Trump heavily hits on. Oh, he gave him money and let him do it, you know? And it was like, no, dude, fucking Netanyahu convinced Obama to like start that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So he plays both sides, he pulls, and it's just, I don't know. He dips into this game that's not really politics, I feel like, you know, and I don't know why we stick with it. I don't know what our fucking did Netanyahu save Trump one time when he was drowning and nobody knows about it, or why you owe him so much?
Maybe it's so this is what I think, and both of these could be 100% wrong. I think he has something on Trump that could end his whole legacy, some sort of wild blackmail, or he's in his pocket because Trump went bankrupt. I believe it was in the 90s.
Yeah,
And he he teamed up with some tiny hat bankers and executives to put him back up on top. So he owes somebody fucking something. That's what I think it is. How can you be a billionaire, go bankrupt, and then be a billionaire again?
I think it was the Miss Universe pageant. That's it, right? He Trump held the Miss Universe pageant in Moscow, and it was widely known that he was broken in trouble, and he left there with like another $5 billion or some shit.
Where did that money come from?
Exactly, exactly. Show me those people who's just given up 5 billion. Nobody,
I think,
unless they're buying you.
well, it's somebody.
Yeah,
And I think they all happen to hide under the masquerade of a certain religion. Just
me
throwing
too.
that out there.
The synagogue of Satan.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I think the people that have all the money are giving him the money, and we know who has all the money because we know who invented the entire financial institution.
yes. It's not hard to follow, trace the money back.
Yeah.
I'm an electrician in my real life job, and
Mhm.
we do data centers. Okay. Um, there's a lot of flack around that in the world, right? Me
Yeah.
right now, I'm like, hey man, I gotta have a job. You know, there's still electrical work out there though. But
Yeah.
I like to look at a lot of conspiracy stuff too and weird shit and like biblical or weird direction stuff. And AI is the name of like a place where the Joshua armies fought in the Bible, and these are the people who like defeated the Nephilim essentially. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Nephilim, but they're considered fallen angels and like the original demons and all that
Okay.
stuff. And people think they're still alive. In Genesis 6 in the Bible, it talks about um they slept with our women and they created like half breeds, which were called the Nephilim, which were like they ate humans, they're fallen angels. They're not supposed to happen. But they gave
Mhm.
us what we would know as weaponry and intelligence and shit like that today. Anywho, I get into that stuff and then you start looking at it and you can go back to like, fuck, I lost where I was going there. These ancient bloodlines on it, right? And this whole turning back point to it where certain people of a certain religion, I guess, or how we said it earlier, lived on through those things, like a flood didn't wipe them out. Or I like to look into that stuff, right? So those were the battles, and the Joshua army in the Bible was defeating all those, dude, like the meanest of those. And then we lose to AI. And I was like, that's fucking weird, That's the name of
Yeah.
it, right? Even though it's not
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, but it's the name of it. And it's like
Yeah.
what we're using today. And I just can't help but sometimes I'm like, dude, if is like AI the whole system, maybe, it's implemented if there's a simulation, maybe that's it, or maybe that's what SpaceX was. I don't know. I wish I knew the answer,
Yeah.
you
Maybe
know?
I think I think people could handle the answer, but I don't think a population could. So if like me and you and like two of our closest people were in a room and somebody told us there's the real truth about everything and we left that room, I think we could handle it and be like okay to a certain degree. We probably never live the same anymore. It'd probably fuck us up, but we wouldn't like melt down. But if they just told the whole population like this is the whole truth, I think it would be the end. Like people would lose their shit. It'd be
It's a
like
really
mass
good point.
hysteria. It would be like mass hysteria.
You think that's why they're soft? What do you think of aliens?
I think I think I don't know about like I don't know. This is what I think. I think the universe is so vast that there has to be some sort of other life form, whether that's bacteria or like insects or animals or maybe even an intelligent, full cognitive species like we are. There has to be something.
Yeah.
There has to be. Somewhere there has to be something. Now,
I
are they hanging out with us? And are they here now? I honestly, I'm like 50-50. It could be if someone was like, if somebody knew the 100% truth of this answer and they were like, yo, none of that's really true, but there's like bacteria we got from Mars, like we're about there. There's no aliens. It's all just movies. None of it's real. Or if somebody was like, hey, I want you to meet this little green guy, like they are here. Like I'm 50-50. I wouldn't be surprised either way. That's what I'm trying
yeah.
to say.
You know what you would do? You'd get him on the team though, because
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
ain't fucking holding nobody back.
Yeah.
Imagine what anybody'd say. You're like, and the newest member, he's our travel liaison. It's just a fucking alien gray or something. Huh?
I just don't know. I've never had any personal experience with like there was one actually there was this my wife will laugh at this because she'll be like, you were just high. But like a while a while ago I was just super stoned driving pretty far distance. It was like 2 hour drive. But to this day, it wasn't the weed because weed is just weed. But I saw some shit in the sky, some light shit that I've never seen before. And I remember I called her. I was like, honey, I just saw a fucking UFO or something. And she's like, no, you didn't. It's dark. You're high. I'm like, no, dude. That's probably the closest thing I've ever seen was I saw a configuration of lights in the sky that I can't explain and I have no idea what it truly was. And it, it wasn't mistakable for oh maybe like a plane's light was blinking or some shit like that. It was
Yeah, it
some
was
weird ass
enough for you
shit.
to call your wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no.
Hmm.
Oh, honey. Like yeah. Like I saw that shit. That's the only. That's the only time I've ever had a experience like that. So I just don't. I don't feel like I'm have enough truth of my existence to give you an honest answer. That's why I'm like 50-50.
Yeah. I think either way they would take that shit just to divide us. And I think that's what they're trying to do right now. Like they got nothing. I think it's on the other side of like, hey, we just got some bacteria and but you guys are
Or
crazy if we tell you.
yeah. Or I've doing back in the day research when I got really into the Illuminati at 9/11 and all that shit was that's part of the agenda. And I'm not in the Illuminati, so I don't know if it really is, but part of the agenda is to fake an alien landing or an alien attack. Like, look, the aliens are here. So that will give them the opportunity to control the entire world. So one new world order. Like, hey,
Yeah.
there's a threat that's beyond Gaza and Israel. There's a threat that's beyond Russia and Ukraine. This threat is threatening all of us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come together, all the fucking bloodlines, all the real puppeteers are gonna come together and say, hey everybody, you're in so much fear. The whole world is in fear because this alien invasion is about to happen that we're going to go under a new world order and it'll be one world government and we're just going to come together. So it'll encourage people to be like, yeah, we're coming together. They're going to protect us, but it's not even real.
We're going to sign off on the next Patriot Act because of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We'll all be willing participants to sign away more rights and to give them more power, not only over us as a country, but the world. And then none of it'll even be fucking true. They even had there's evidence of during World War II, some of the National Socialists on the German side were working on saucer shaped aircraft back then.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, dude. So there's evidence from the late 30s and mid 40s of scientists working on saucer-shaped aircraft that they were building back then. So when we see it 100 years later, where the fuck did it come from? I think we're making the shit
Oh yeah.
to scare ourselves.
Yeah, we're fucking with stuff. Um, I'm gonna get a little crazy here again. We
Get
talked
crazy, bro.
about so Epstein, yeah, right. As if I already haven't kind of the Epstein list. This is kind of like my I don't want to say favorite part because all that shit's terrible, right? But there's like also some nuances in there that I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And there's stuff of Epstein like in interviews, and he's talking about the human consciousness and what it means to him. I don't know if you've seen any of those clips. And
Mhm.
he talks about how they can't really find it, but and then you start looking into early Epstein, and he was friends with a bunch of like prominent physicists and bio like chemists and people who really studied human body things and also like computer code. And then he was donating to Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, right? Palantir,
Mhm.
before they were Palantir, 15 years ago, he was donating to these guys. And I can't, and if you think about like what does Palantir do, right? They control their surveillance. They try to say they're not, but we all know you're surveillance. You're like recording our keystrokes down to, our eye pupil motion when we see porn or whatever, or an
Yep.
image we want to buy. Yeah. And creating these digital footprints of us. And it's like, dude, Epstein had all this blackmail, or if he was a Mossad agent or whatever he did, the craziest thinking part to me is that he could have possibly used this data collection information and like the people he was talking to about human consciousness. And in my mind, I'm like, with $100 million, could you replicate a computer like perfect image or Donald Trump, like a clone, like a computer clone, and you knew every conversation before you even got to him,
Mhm.
or you knew, oh, I know you like 12-year-old girls that are redheads, type stuff. And I'm
I
like,
thought I thought you were gonna go. I'm with you on where you're going in this conversation. I don't know why. I thought you were gonna go into transferring human consciousness into either another human being or like a robot. That's what I thought you were going with this.
I mean, a lot of
But
people think Epstein might be there now.
yeah, I wonder if I don't know. I think like a clone, like you're saying, I think that's possible. There probably already is, but there's not to get too spiritual, but there's just something. I think, no, you know what I am? I think it's our soul. I don't think you can replicate that. I think there's something within us as a human being that you just can't replicate. It'll
Yeah.
never be, it'll never be a 100% copy of somebody. Like maybe the mannerisms and it may look like it on the outside, but you can't replicate the soul. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't,
Glad
dude.
I'm glad you went spiritual and said that, because I was like,
You
I
can't.
believe that too, right? Like when
You
people are
can't,
like,
yeah.
AI is going to become and start thinking of this, I'm like, dude, that means somebody would have to know what a soul or a consciousness is and then replicate it and then teach the AI. And we don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no way, in my opinion, right? There's no way, in my opinion, an AI would become self aware because we'd have to give it consciousness. And there are people out
It,
there who don't even have a conscience, you know?
it's like you can't make water.
Exactly.
You can make ice, you can make steam, you can make gas, water, gas, which is steam basically, but you can't make water. How do you make water?
Yeah.
You
Water's
can't,
water.
yeah, you can't go to the grocery store and or anywhere or the black market and come up with items and make water. Water's water. The soul is the soul. You can't make a soul.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
that's
I
a good
think.
point. Um, you really can't. What are you going to put together to make water? That reminds me of Robin Williams when he had that stand up on HBO and he was like, I got ice too. And he was talking about how we're going to be out of water in the future and all that shit. Right on
Mhm.
the point. Um, Feminism. Okay. You touched on that a little bit and how like women could move away from those types of things, dude. And I think you hit the nail on the head, because I came up with this. I ran across this stat yesterday when I was looking through stuff. Women give birth from, it's like 1.6 is the birth rate per woman. So every woman, there's about 1.6. We need 2.1 to be like replicatable. So the American species, or like citizenship, whatever you want, we're humans, right? But the
Yeah.
continent of America, the women no longer replicate with us fast enough to keep us going. And we used to be like the fucking kings of that, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
crazy, huh?
so I think, I mean, it goes into the feminism of double tax, indoctrinate the children,
Yeah, one
teach,
income doesn't work.
yeah,
Ch-
income doesn't
Childcare is
work.
expensive, even if you are, you know? Oh yeah, we got the family dream, but I can't afford to get my kid to childcare.
Yeah.
I
And
don't.
and almost making it like the first word that comes to my mind is hip, but almost making it trendy to not. Now, I agree that every woman's path may not be motherhood, and that's okay,
Yep.
but it's like I think the majority of, and I'm not a woman, but I think it's bio it's I'm going back to spirituality again. It's something inside of it's like it's Mother Nature, dude. The it's nature's course. It's like everything reproduces, even cells and fish and every female living organism, mammal species, reptile, birds, all that they know that they have to multiply. We're the
Mm-hmm.
only ones that are being taught or manipulated into it's like almost cool not to do that,
Yes.
or such a deterrent because of financial reasons. Like, how am I ever gonna afford me and my husband, or me and my boyfriend, or me and my wife, or me and my girlfriend can barely even afford this 1 bedroom apartment. How the fuck are we gonna bring a kid into the world, let alone two or three?
Yeah. No, seriously. And they've done
Yeah.
that. I was talking to another one of my coworkers, and he's like, dude, I'm, out in the dating market. And he's like, I have a child, so I almost have to avoid like a woman who has more than one other child, or I can't afford to date her. And it's like,
Yeah, dude.
Jesus, bro. Like, you shouldn't even care about that. Back then you'd be like, I don't know, I'll make it work.
Yep.
And I
And
think,
it's wild, bro. Like a comedian was talking about this. I forgot his name. I just have like a snapshot in my head of it. But like, why we have to pay to even live? Like and I'm getting like very into like our ancestry of just being humans, but like we have everything we need. We know how to make shelter, we know how to make fire. There's food, animals and plants and all the shit we could eat. There's water flowing from the streams. All the shit that we need is already here. Technically, we don't even need money for any of it. It's already here. We were born into a environment where everything is readily at our fingertips.
yep,
And we've been placed in this box where we have to use our energy and our brains and our gifts to acquire what has already been freely given to us. Wild. Does that make sense?
no, that's exactly, you hit it right on the head. Lightning struck before we had the energy company out here charging me. Oh man, we got to harness electricity. It's like, dude, lightning was here. The hell are you talking about? You
Yeah,
know?
right?
Yeah, those types
Yeah.
of, but yeah, that's exactly it. We were all there, but now I'm bending over backwards just to be able to pay for a 15-minute long shower instead of a 5-minute long shower. When
Yeah.
it's like there's a waterfall, go heat it up with a fire. But
A
no,
lot of
now that's
it's
shunned on.
a lot of it is just against our nature too, like biologically. Like especially in America, like every and I'm going back to the woman thing, but like a lot of women during their cycle, there's points where they're not supposed to be sitting at a desk and working all day. They're supposed to be resting and recharging their bodies and their spirits and their minds so they
Absolutely.
can be mothers and guardians of the community, and like they need their focus to be elsewhere, not punching numbers for some fucking dickhead in a suit to make money on shit, to buy shit that we don't nobody needs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, you get where I'm
Status.
going with this? I kind of like drifted a little bit off topic,
N-
but
No, I think, dude, that's a good explanation. Like you're telling what your brand, what you're about, you know? And you were very open to it being like, no, I don't want to sway people one way or another, you know? And you're fucking not swaying anybody, you know, saying that everybody should have reasonable time with their family and food on the table isn't swaying one way,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's
no,
a,
yeah, 100%. That's
it,
the family values you were bringing up towards the beginning of this conversation.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, if I wish in a perfect world right now, I would tell my wife loves her job, but I would tell her, quit that fucking job. Me being the founder and president of American Reich is going to pay all these bills, and let's pump out one more kid, you know? And we don't have to worry about stress on financial shit. We could just like live. And that's my mom's parents and my dad's parents. My mom's parents, it was my mom and her two brothers in a nice house in Granada Hills, California. Stay at home mom. They had everything under the sun. Their dad was a manager at a grocery store. That doesn't exist anymore. That's what I'm saying.
no,
My dad grew up, him and his two siblings, my aunt and my uncle. And my dad grew up, and his father, retired World War II veteran, I may add, was fighting the Japanese during World War II. But he owned a hardware store. He was the owner of a hardware store, and they live on a nice piece of land in California. The point I'm making is that shit don't exist anymore. Like
they
I can't go work at a factory and raise two kids, three kids, and my wife be a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't exist anymore.
no, no, at all. And it's tough because you and we both live in super expensive states. You know,
Yeah.
Colorado's through the fucking roof. You get like 1,300 square feet for 400 grand now here, you know, 2 bedrooms. It's crazy. But they say, oh, we'll go over. You can go live that. You know, you're just living outside of your means because you're having a coffee every day. And it's like, dude, I'm $3 every day, you know, is $90 a month. You know, it's $100 bill. That ain't buying a house. Maybe when you
Yeah.
guys could buy a house, you know, back in the 70s, that was part of the
Or
payment.
or my dad tells me this all the time. He's like, it's not my dad's against my dad is against me being against Zionism so much. But anyway, he's old school. He's like 77, so there's
Yeah.
no change in his mind. But he always says like, "Oh, it's not the double taxing and like all this stuff you're talking about in Zionism." He's like, "Go live in Tennessee. You could have this. You live in the most expensive state in the world, almost besides New York. I mean, the country besides New York." But yes and no. So yes, I do live in one of the most expensive states in the country, but also the job at the grocery store here that's going to pay me $25 an hour. If I do the same job in Tennessee, they're going to pay me 12 or 13. So
Exactly.
it's it's the same.
Hmm.
It
And
may
then
look
guess
different.
what? Guess
It's
what
the
doesn't
same.
change though? The long nose owned company that forces you to buy everything through them, you know? So you're making $15 in Tennessee or 25 in California, but that piece of shit you're buying still going to cost you the same, you know?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's the McDonald's effect they call it, right? The cheeseburger is still the same price throughout every state in America.
Yeah.
The Big Mac. There you go.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same
yeah.
price everywhere you go. And it's like, yeah, but you don't make the same amount of money. It's because these motherfuckers are ripping you off. You
Or
know,
if
they're
the cost of living is lower in some states, but the wage that you're getting is also lower. So if
it's
I'm
the
making
same.
30, if I'm making $100 an hour for $1 million house, or making $10 an hour for a $10,000 house, it's this fucking same. It looks like it's more money, but I'm just paying more money, just more of a headache
My friends
because
and
there's
I
more
always,
money.
when we bitch about that, you know, we're like, fucking, I wish I made, you know, a little bit more money. And then we look at each other and we're like, you know, I'd just spend more money if I made more money. They've
That's
manipulated us so much, you know, that hey, you made a little more money. Well, either gas is going to be expensive or we got this new shiny toy you want, or we're going to tell you you want to go out here and your kids are going to want 5 Labubus and then
Yep,
they're
yep,
gone, right? And you're like, fuck.
yep.
But I love my
Limited.
kids, so I buy them.
There's this documentary. It was on Netflix. This was a while ago. It's probably not anymore, but it's called Happiness, and it breaks down the material loop, like get the new car, then after a few years the car's not so new anymore, and then the new car comes out. You got to get that, and it's just this cycle of things. We got to have things. We've been trained to think that things make us, not only gives us social status, like I have the new Beamer, Ferrari, whatever, but that's supposed to fill our happiness. And in this documentary, it's showing these millionaires in mansions that aren't that fucking happy. And then it shows these people in these little communities in like Indonesia that aren't living in dirt, but pretty much damn near, that are just smiles on the camera. The kids are happy, and they're so happy because they have what's really important, and that's community, all the resources at their fingertips. They have
Do
what they
they
need.
know like an iPhone exists? Obviously,
Yeah, yeah, but
they
they,
know they're not getting that. I wouldn't
yeah,
say
yeah,
missing out because that just makes it sound like, you're missing out on a cell phone. No, you're not missing.
they're just not conditioned. They're
Yes.
conditioned to think when we have, a good hunt for the week and no one's hungry and there's no natural disaster and we're together and the community's helping each other and the school's open and there's water in the town, all the needs are met, everyone's happy, they're having fires at night, coming together, singing songs, playing with toys. The kids, they understand that that is enough, and that's what they need. Not conditioned with the fucking Netflix and commercials and
Hmm.
YouTube ads. You got to get the new skin cream. Oh, your skin, you have crow's feet. Don't have crow's feet. You got to look better. The fucking new Range Rover's out. The new iPhone 17e chip is out. Like all this shit. Like you're in the grocery store and you're in your iPhone 13, and the guy comes up next to you in a nicer suit, with better smelling cologne with the iPhone 20, and you're like, and he's getting the more attention. The girls are looking at him a little bit, not you now. And then in your brain's like, oh, I have to have those things to become important and to feel special and be happy. That's
Yep.
bullshit.
They said Israel designed the chip in the new iPhone, right? The ones that,
Yeah.
and they were the ones that exploded. I was like, sweet. It's just us
Somebody,
handing over more money.
yeah, somebody called me because like I said earlier, I work with influencers who still support MAGA, and these people aren't just influencers I work with. Some of them are my friends who are have families and children, and I know them on a personal level who are good human beings. And this chick said, she was talking about me without saying my name, but she was like, I don't understand how you could work with influencers that support MAGA, but also be with Save Our Children. You can't do both. Like you can't. You have to pick a side. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I
Yeah.
do both. I have friends that support MAGA, and I march out there
Yeah.
physically, take the action to stand up for these fucking kids. But I made that joke. I said, how about this? You're against Zionism. Pull out your cell phone. That's Israel technology. So get back on your 1967 rotary phone made in fucking Mississippi and
Yeah.
fucking pick a side. Pick a side. You
Yeah.
can't do both. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just really, it really, like Peter Griffin says, grinds my gears when people try
Yeah.
to
Right.
when people try to box me for who I associate with. Now, if there's some guy who got arrested for raping a child, and then, 10 days later, I'm all buddy buddy with him on fucking YouTube or something, that's fucking different.
Yeah. You better tell
But
me, right? Somebody better
yeah,
clear me up.
but
We'll go
don't
find
box
him.
me. I don't like being boxed because of who I associate with because of their own individual political ideology. Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. I can talk to whoever I want. I can be friends with whoever I want. And American Reich is about removing the division line. I see people as American human beings,
Hmm.
not you're MAGA, you're fucking Kamala. No, you're if you're too far away out there, I'm going to disassociate myself. But I try
I
to give
have a
people the
feeling,
benefit of the doubt.
a lot of people want to like label you as propaganda, and I think that's part of it. They're like, MAGA, look at it's propaganda, oh, the word Reich must be propaganda to hate Jews.
Yeah,
And it's like, no, no, it's getting your attention. Now listen to me, right? Now that
yep,
I have your attention, and let's talk about
exactly.
things. Yeah, I like that. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Like what do they say? Looks don't matter. Bull fucking shit. I wouldn't even talk to you if you were an ugly chick.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying chicks are ugly, or
No,
whatever,
no, no.
but
I get what you're saying.
yeah, you get
Yeah.
what I mean. It's like I wouldn't, if I don't find you attractive, you're not going to be in my life. You know,
Yeah,
that's just how life works.
I do get that. Oh, he's just doing it for clout or attention or propaganda, like you say. It's like,
Yes.
no, dude. My actions and my words are very aligned. It's one thing.
Yeah.
I've always been honest about my intentions. I've always been honest about what the American Reich stands for, what we're trying to do. There's no fucking secret. There's no
No, it's
secrets, dude.
controlling your symbol, and you do that well, right? You're like, no, this is fucking it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, you, they can come talk to you face to face. You post that shit all over Instagram. Like, we're gonna be here. Here's a flyer for this weekend. You know, so
And I get
that's
people
it's just
putting
ignorance.
and I get people putting cameras in my face all the fucking time, and they ask me the same questions all the time. And if you notice, my pattern is consistent. My answer, I mean, the words may change a little bit. I don't say the same exact words verbatim, but my answers are always the same. It's never changed.
Yep.
It's never changed. What are you about? Are you neo-Nazi? What are you doing? It's always the fucking same. It's been the same since day one. Like I
Hmm.
said, there's no secrets, there's no hidden agenda. I don't have an ulterior motive.
No, you want to see people live a life, not fucking women and children bombed at the
Exactly.
antics of a fucking crazy dictator over in some third world country.
It's funny too. Trump said, "What you're doing to Lebanon? Now everybody hates you. Now everybody hates Israel." I was like,
No,
"Now they do?
you're
No,
making them
dude.
hate Israel. What?
Uh, they already did, and they
Yeah,
already have.
yeah,
This is just more. This is just icing on the cake, dude."
yeah. I know. In one of our episodes not too long ago, I was like, we had said something. Matt did. He said something along the lines of Zog, and I had forgotten, Zionist occupied government, and I was like,
Yep.
yeah, fuck yeah, we need to see a shirt like that. And then he looked at me and he's
Yep.
like, you need to watch American History X again. And I was like, ah, shit, can't
Yep.
say, but those are
Yeah.
the things they'll get you fucking canceled. And it's like, no, dude, I just don't want to give 4 billion a day or whatever the hell we're doing to Israel.
Yeah.
You know,
When we have 40,000 plus vets that are homeless.
exactly. Matt's a fucking vet, dude. Like, he would have loved to have been on that, 45 minutes ago, wherever you were talking about with all the people, he fought in the Iraq war, dude, where shit was crazy. And he went through it, he literally saw combat and like shot at people, and the American government turned their back on him for a foreign government. They're like, hey, and eventually it all worked out. But it's like how quickly they turn on our veterans, and
Yeah,
we're
it's
supposed to
sad.
sit here and go, yeah, support some other country's war. Nah, dude.
Yeah. And
Anywho,
our and we all go out and work so hard, and then we have to pay taxes, and then knowing that a portion of the money that I worked for is going to help build a weapon that's going to hurt children in some other land on whose behalf? No, dude. I'd
yeah,
rather that money go back to my kid's school. I'd rather that money go in the fucking pocket of the vet that just asked me to borrow $1 that I walked past the liquor store at. Like, dude,
that's what's his name? Things that cost more than California or less than California's light rail system or whatever that you guys have been
yeah,
building. It's like $35 billion that you're in now, and it's still not done. But he posted that you could give every homeless person in America like $140,000 right off the bat for just the price of like one failed infrastructure design. So it's not, when you think about those things, it's really not that expensive. It's
yeah.
like, well, here we are for 15 years. We're willing to fail on infrastructure. Why not do something useful with it?
I I've talked about this before. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I got sober 10 years ago on Skid Row in Los Angeles.
Really?
So yeah, I was homeless on Skid Row 10 years ago, drinking
And you
myself
got
to death.
sober there. Holy shit.
Yeah, September I'll be 10 years sober. I was like a wild alcoholic. That's why some of these people try to bring up my rap sheet from like over 10 years ago. Like, oh yeah, fucking got in a domestic dispute with his ex 13 years ago. He beats women. Like, calm the fuck down. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Chill,
Yeah.
first of all.
Yeah.
But the point is, I just have a soft spot in my heart for the homeless because I was out there living it, dude.
Yeah. No, I try
Sleeping in
I
a
try to
fucking
give back.
box.
We try to give all the time, at least once a month, go make them because we have a really bad. Where I live in Colorado, it's like in between medium size, so there's a lot of drugs and there's a lot of like failing business, so there's a shitload of homeless too. And the same thing. So I get it. I really do get that. But that's crazy, man. Congrats on almost 10 fucking years.
Yeah, dude. Thanks.
September. That's wild. That's the hardest thing, dude, to give up Alcohol too, I think, is
Alcohol.
harder than anything.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's the most overlooked. No, I
Yes.
mean drug. It's one. Yeah, it is because people are like, "Oh, you're an alcoholic," and you kind of most people, not everybody, have this like the guy with the brown paper bag, like but it affects more people than anything else because it's legal and it's so relatively easy to get for anybody.
Oh yeah.
Um, but then you hear like, "Oh, the fentanyl addict or heroin addict or a meth addict," and it's like, oh, like that deserves more attention and like that's worse. It's like no, they're equally worse. They're all equally worse. It's just our
They all
brain is
have an
trained.
underlying cause. Yeah.
Our brain is trained because alcohol is legal that it's less harmful or dangerous for some reason, but it's not.
Yeah.
Al
Al-
fentanyl fentanyl will kill you on the spot from a too high of a dose, but alcohol will take your whole family away from you and kill you slowly. It's different.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's
a lot
different. It'll
different.
take everything from you.
Yeah, it'll make
Um,
you watch.
you think, what do you think
Can you
makes
hear
people,
that? That was
no?
my cat. That was my
Oh,
cat. Hang on. Let me bring Charles to the screen.
nice. What's up,
That's,
Charles?
that's Charles. He
I'm cool
looks.
with cats.
We have a dog too. She's over there. Charles looks a little bit like this guy from Germany.
Yeah, he's got a tiny mustache.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's what Matt
Yeah.
always likes to say. Oh man, the tiny mustache guy. You know, we've just had, dude, we've almost got 100 episodes, and it's like we've learned, if we post certain stuff, that it just gets it. It always goes through, but YouTube will be like, well, I took 4 days for it to upload, and I'm like, really? Because I said Jew.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
TikTok tried to take my account the other day because I called myself retarded.
Really?
Yeah,
Here,
yeah,
I'll show you. I'll show you Lilith, and then that's it with the animals. This is Lilith,
nice.
my little tiny dog. She's my best
Hell
friend
yeah,
dog.
hell yeah.
We're big animal lovers in our house.
You have to be, dude.
Yeah.
We have to get back to roots. Animal, right? Stress relief.
Yeah.
Animals are pure.
Yeah.
They don't judge, and if they do judge, then you should listen to them because they're telling you the truth.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Women's intuition as well. I should have listened to my wife about some knuckleheads in my organization that I didn't listen to, and she turned out to be right. You hear me, honey? Wherever you are in the house, you were right.
You getting like, are they part of the slander?
Oh
They
yeah.
they want to see you fail.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's okay. It's not
Yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah,
But
right. That's okay. That
what's
means
that?
you wouldn't have you'd have to quit working.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
who
part
gives
of
up?
I knew it intellectually that something like this could happen or would happen down the line. Didn't think it would happen as soon as it did, but it's just a part of the game. Humans are very unpredictable, and if you need to talk about me to get attention, that obviously means that you yourself aren't interesting enough to talk about. You don't Whatever you're doing
Yep.
isn't interesting enough to talk about on its own, and you and your existence, if you need to start the conversation off about me.
Yeah.
So,
Seriously.
yeah.
Um, Before I let you go, though,
Yes,
we
sir.
did touch on June, Men's Health Month. Okay.
Yes.
I think there is like a masculinity in crisis with men in America, you know,
Mhm.
and you kind of touch on that. And it's not, I don't mean men wearing dresses.
Oh,
That
yeah.
that's part of it, but that's always been around. Look at Corporal Klinger from MASH. It was a
Yeah.
whole fucking character, right? Trying to get a Section 8. But I think like men feel weak now or almost useless. We're demonized a lot, and a lot of men, like you said, deal with addiction quietly too. I think
Hmm.
that's a big part of it. Or if we're spiritually broke, I feel like that's a big thing today. Like, men don't know where to come from anymore. How many do you know that are going to go out and chop down a tree and could build a campfire and all this shit. And I think that's part of being a man. You lose that connection.
Hmm.
And I think it's important that you brought it up. I made a joke that it was, hey, gay pride month, but men's health matters a whole lot more. So I want to give you a second to just say something to get on that if you want to.
We have the highest rate, men have the highest rate of suicide. Uh, I'm out of any other, there's only one other, women, but I mean, men have the highest suicide rate by far. The numbers are astronomically different than women. And unfortunately, we're taught, it it it's appropriate in times to kind of suck it up, take it on the chin, be a man, and walk through things. That does serve its purpose in certain circumstances, but not when it's slowly killing you inside. Like I have a buddy that I was talking to the other day, and I do this to all my guy friends who are ever going through something, is I always just remind them like, hey man, I know that you got this and that you're a man and that you can handle your business. I'm not saying you can't. And it's okay to talk to me about it, vent to me about it. Like you're still a fucking human being. So I try to put it in a way where I'm not demasculizing.
Yep.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, I think so.
Demasculizing them, making them feel weak. Like I'm trying to empower them. Like you're a strong man, brother. Like you got this. And let's not ignore that you're still just a human being and you're allowed to feel shit and be sad, be scared, cry
Hmm.
if you need to, and have at least one safe brother or person that you could just let it out with without judgment. I think it's very important that men find at least one, whether that's your father, whether that's your brother, whether that's a friend, or someone you don't even know, just somebody as a man that you can just let it out with no judgment. Even if you just need to cry like a newborn for a few minutes, just get it out. It's healthy, dude. We cry because it's a natural human response.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
a, you need to let it out.
Yeah, you need a
So
whale.
yeah, so my what I really want to say about men's mental health is the suicide rate is real. Men do tend to suffer in silence because that's how we've been programmed. And you don't have to. It's okay. Find one or two dudes or women, preferably a man in this situation because we'll understand it better than a woman because we're made differently. That's how God made us. But just let it out. Talk about it. It's okay, dude. Like it doesn't make you weak. You're going to hurt more people if you suffer in silence and something happens to you, and then your whole family and loved ones and people that care about you have to suffer versus having one uncomfortable breakdown moment or one uncomfortable conversation with a friend that may embarrass you for a few minutes that they'll forget in a week anyways. Like
Absolutely.
that's the better route. Trust me.
Yeah, you turn masculine anger into building something, instead of like bitterness that you hold on to. You
Yeah.
you put that forth. And I don't know you personally, but we've sat here for an hour and a half, and you were an addict before, and the things you've told me and what you dealt with, that is something that it looks like you've done. You learned where bitterness and anger comes from, and you've literally built, a company now who helps people, who talks to people, who supports a wide variety of fucking people out there, from homeless to children, veterans, so I think people can listen to what we've talked about and see you and know that you're not a fucking neo-Nazi, or
No, bro.
you don't want to see the world burn. You don't want to come out
Mm-hmm.
here and stir up a fight and division. You want to bring, yo, why the fuck are we looking at this when they're taking shit from us,
Yeah.
and that should be allowed to be said,
You
and
can get
that's,
if
go
you can
ahead.
get past the negative, like I said, I'm not naive, I'm not dumb. You can get past the negative connotation in the word Reich and really just take a second and put your what you think this is away for 2 minutes and really listen to what I've said. Look at some of the videos I post and who I post with. I think it'll easily not, I don't want to say change your mind because I don't need to push my agenda on anybody, but you'll be able to have a better understanding of what this truly is and what this truly isn't. It's a force for good. Yes, it's a word though. Gay used to mean happy. My aunt's name is Gay. Her first name is Gay, born in the 50s when it meant happy. Then it's changed. It's a
Yeah.
word. Gay meant happy. Then gay meant like you're dumb or you're like goofy. Then gay meant like you like the same sex. It's like a word that's changed. So Reich technically means empire, realm, nation, or kingdom. It's a word that has been attached to a point of history that can be construed as negative, but the word itself, it's not a negative word. It's just a fucking word.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You go to Mount
put your
Rushmore and you see the swastikas everywhere and all kinds of Indian stuff up there, It doesn't mean they're fucking Nazis. It wasn't for hate. It was
ex-
changed.
exactly. The American Reich is a patriotic movement that is trying to remove the division line, unite Americans. Doesn't matter your color, creed, religion, background. It's a positive movement. It is a force for good. We're trying to help kids. We're standing up for kids with Save Our Children. We're standing up for kids donating to Skid Row. We're trying to help veterans. We're trying to help the mental health crisis, men and or women, substance use, anywhere where we can help, food banks, anywhere where we can fucking help each other. That's what the American Reich is about. If you see, Wick talks about this all the time. You see somebody if you see somebody broken down on the side of the road trying to change a tire, and you can see they obviously don't know what the fuck they're doing, pull over and help them. Help. It's about helping, uniting, helping, taking care of each other. It's what it's about. It's not about violence. It's not about we're going to go storm the Capitol and put everyone's safety and freedom at risk. It's not about whites only. It's not about none of that shit.
Yeah.
None of it.
Awesome. Please keep posting and pushing that out there like you have. You know, people, you're an image too that like it is our generation. You know, we're not looking at some cookie cutter, TV ad that we're all used to as kids, or like those infomercials of somebody in a suit, or these old fucking pastor looking dudes preaching. You know, I feel like you're a real person. You know, you look real. You hang out in a crowd with real fucking people. You know, you're not surrounded by 12 dudes with cameras and bulletproof vests and ski masks on and shit following you around and pushing people away from you, you know?
Yeah.
And
I'm not a polished politician. I'm a normal American dad, husband.
Yeah. And you want people to listen.
And I'm right at that age where I saw how it used to be, and I've lived through where it's at, and I have enough years to see where it's going, and I can make a change right at that sweet spot.
Good. Well, Chris, please tell everybody where they can find your shit.
You can go to AmericanReichLLC.com. There you'll find our mission statement, a link to our store. The merchandise is always just an option. No, you don't have to buy it to be a part of the American Reich, but we do have a cool fucking logo. There's so much cool shit in there. If you want to buy it, it's available. You can see where upcoming events are, old events we've done, podcast links. I'll throw yours up on there too as well. Yeah, AmericanReichLLC.com is our main hub for our website. And if you want to catch me on Instagram, it is founder_AR. And in my bio also is a link to our Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, the store, the American Reich Party campaign page that my chief advisor William runs. So if you can get to founder_AR on Instagram and go to my links in my bio, that'll take you to everything. That's like the hub besides the website, AmericanReichLLC.com.
And I want to point out too, where we're at in Colorado, your stuff looks like, dude, it's cool looking shit. You know, it's got like, this is just my opinion, you know, so don't, everybody got to go look for themselves, but it has really like that Minuteman, like militia, army, Kingsman, like strong country vibe to it too, you know, and I like that shit. And people out here where we live, you know, it's rural. There's cows, there's horses, there's all that. So I think they would all like that design too.
We have some camo shirts coming out too. And after the summer, we're bringing this like heavyweight jacket for more of like rural, am I saying that right? Area, like a heavy duty, lots of pockets. We have like a in the medium tactical bag. So not crazy tactical, like you're jumping off the plane going into World War II, but also one, it's like right in the middle. So it's like a backpack, but has where you could, you know, if you're into like guns and ammo, where you could put some of your stuff as well. It's like a medium bag right in the middle.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm a fucking hour from the Rocky Mountains, so that type of shit, dude, where I live is cool, right? People really like that stuff. Survival, tactical, all that look. And dude, American values. Please, folks, listen to this episode. Well, you should be if you're at the end here now. But thank you, dude. I appreciate you now. When I first reached out to you, you know, it was kind of like, hey, people are kind of smearing me right now, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to just be yourself. And I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, no worries. And I'd love to come back anytime. Just hit me up.
Hell yeah, dude.
You're a part of the family now, brother.
Yeah, let's do it. I am one half of the End of Days best friends. I'm your boy Michael. That is Chris, CEO, founder, president, whole team though. Clarify that. Does it with a whole ass team and everybody. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. And we will catch y'all on the next one.
Thank you so much.
If you don't first subscribe, press your head.